Hi, and welcome to the Love Learns podcast. My name is Dionne Zara, just your average girl wishing to learn more about love and relationships. As a young girl, I always dreamt about my wedding day, and to be fair, I still do sometimes. With many couples around me, I quickly came to realise love isn't as straightforward as the movies make out. So I thought I would have conversations with couples who made it past happily ever after to learn more about love. And when I say love, I don't mean like the movies and fairy tales, but I mean LOVE, learning to be open, vulnerable, and empathetic. So if you're ready to learn, unlearn, and discover love through couples, you're in the right place. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Love Learn. This week we're going to be changing it up a bit. Last week we had a couch conversation with Yar. And if you want to watch that, I'm just going to leave the link in the card. So just go ahead and have a watch. This week, we're changing it up a bit. We're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be analysing one of the TV shows that I spoke about in my intro. And before I start with that, I just need to make it clear. Firstly, there's going to be a few spoilers. So if you haven't watched the TV show, please be cautioned that there will be spoilers in this episode. And two, I am not these guys' therapists. I don't know anything about them other than what I've seen on the TV show. So everything that I am suggesting are just hypotheses and just what could happen, what I would be thinking if they were in my therapy room presenting with some of these issues. So don't take it as gospel. I don't know these people, and we're not going to like analyze them in this extent of like dephasing their character and stuff. So we're just going to go off of what we've seen on the TV show, what it could mean, what I would be thinking if this presented to me. So let's get started. The TV show that I'm going to be talking about is Love is Blind, season 5. So again, if you have not watched it, there will be spoilers in this episode. So either go and watch it or continue watching knowing that you're going to get some information like about the show as well. So the first couple that I'm going to be talking about is JP and Taylor. I felt like this would be a good way to start because they were quite a short stint in the show. They only made it up to the honeymoon, but there was a bit of information about them throughout those episodes. So I think it's best for us to just start with them. Taylor is a teacher. She's 25 when this was being filmed, and I would describe her as a bit more of a secure, attached individual. And then we have JP, who is 30, and he is a firefighter. Also, I would probably describe his attachment style to be more of on the avoidant side. I think he's more of an avoidant from watching on. In the beginning, I thought he was secure because he could open up about his past and stuff in the pods. But as the time went on, I was shifting more to a little bit of an avoidant attachment style. But yeah, we can dive in a little bit more. I think I really, really like Taylor because when she first did her interview about why she was single, she was talking about self-love. She was talking about how she needed to kind of get in a place of looking at herself instead of looking for herself in others. And I think that's one like hint that I thought, oh my God, she might actually be a secure attached individual, because she wasn't projecting her fears of not being with someone onto how people have treated her or anything like that. It was more of an internal realization. And another thing that also like gave me the idea that she might be securely attached is when she said that her family always used to say she's picky. I think she just knew what she wanted and kind of stuck with that boundary for herself and stuck with that idea for herself. So she knew what she wanted. So it kind of like helped me decide, oh, okay, maybe she is a secure person. She knows what she wants. She has a clear, and she also had a really clear image of what she wanted. And when she was asking questions, they were all value-based and very directive, in the sense of, she asked JP like if he wanted kids. She asked about like there was something else that she asked about. She asked about his childhood. So they're very directive questions, trying to work out who this person was without being shallow about it, and diving into that person rather than just being okay, where I see my future, are you going to fit into my future? It was kind of like it was partly that, but it was also partly, would we match if we were together? Like would our lifestyles kind of match? Which to her it seemed like they would in the pods. JP on the other hand, he was quiet throughout the show, even in the pods, but I think he felt a little bit more comfortable in the pods than outside of the pods, because he was a little bit more open, and I think that came with time with Taylor, but he wasn't very he wasn't very curious. He wasn't very much asking those questions, whereas Taylor was very intentional with her question asking and exploring where, like, the kinds of things that she wanted to know, whereas he just kept on going with the conversation. So it seemed like Taylor was leading most of the conversation. But yeah, he's when he was talking about his childhood, I think that was the only time we saw him get a little bit vulnerable, and also when he was proposing. But I think the vulnerability came because of the question about his childhood, which gave a little bit of insight, because we knew that he had divorced parents before and he had siblings, but we didn't really know much about his past until Taylor asked about his childhood. And he opened up and said that he had never told anyone this, but it was he felt a little bit like a rubbish brother because he couldn't protect his sisters because of his mum. He had an angry mum. And when I was listening to this, it kind of like helped me realize towards the end of the show, towards the end of their story, why he might have been like quiet in the conversations. He might have been quiet just because his mum was angry, so he was intentionally putting guards up, which was like just being quiet. So his defense mechanism was, if I'm not heard, then I can't be in trouble. So he did say that he got the lesser end of his mum's anger compared to his sisters, and he felt like he couldn't protect his sisters, but when he got older he started to comfort them. So I'm guessing he quickly picked up that because his mum was angry, he had to shut himself down. But so I think that's also created some sort of insecurities in him, about protection, about being a man, what that means, and all of that stuff. But I'll get to that when we get to the honeymoon phase. But in the pods, it looked like they would be a good match because he felt a little bit more freer in the pods rather than compared to after. And Taylor was asking the questions that could provoke him to think and move forward in conversation, but I don't think he's really good at small talk. I think it's more of a deep conversations that he's comfortable with and he knows his answers for, but even that we see later on fades as well, which gets him into a bit of a situation. But it was nice to see that kind of interaction. And then when we got to the reveal, we can see that Taylor hadn't anticipated what he would look like. Well, she had an image of what he would look like, but she thought it would be something completely different. So she said in her VT clips, she was saying that she sort of had a dream of a guy who was like blonde haired, tan skinned. So she had an image in her head, and I think when she saw him, it didn't match. And she kind of like was taken aback, but she still kept in her stride. She tried to ground herself. You could tell like she was trying to stay with the moment rather than like overthink, but you could see her overthinking in certain flashes. But it was interesting to watch, whereas JP didn't have any idea of what she looked like, hadn't thought about it that far ahead. So it was very not surprised, but very accepting of what she looked like. Well, it seemed like that in the first place anyway. He was very accepting of who she looked like, called her beautiful and everything. So I didn't think it was a bad reveal. I just think that Taylor had a few more expectations for the reveal than she received. And I think for a minute it threw her off, but they were very tactile, they were very touchy kissy. It didn't seem too weird. Like, I know she said, oh, it's weird to put your voice to your face, but I think that was just out of shock. I don't think it was like last season when Irene saw Zach. I think that's completely different. I feel like this was more of a, oh, I thought you would look like this, but you look like this. I need to readjust my thoughts and be okay with this. So that was an interesting moment, but they managed to make it through and went to the honeymoon. So we get to the honeymoon and we start to see the change like revealing itself. We can see he's into her, JP's into Taylor, but he's not talking much. He's not giving much to her. And I think Taylor has started to express that she's feeling these things. She even tells him as soon as they get into the room, like she cried when after the reveal because she felt like he was not attracted to her, and he doesn't, and she's trying to bid for like validation that she's in the right place, that she's done the right thing by staying with him, by picking him and him picking her, but she's not getting anything back from him. So she's kind of stuck in the place of, okay, I need to get over this awkwardness. And he's also been very awkward in the sense of not communicating how he feels. So for her, because of this awkwardness and this feeling, she's now going into an anxious place of, what if the future continues to be like this? How do I shift out of this thing if it isn't? Like, can I see myself getting married to this person if we can't even get past this awkwardness and can't talk about it? And I think it becomes very, very evident when she's trying to keep their relationship together because they both come from broken homes. So her idea of, if we get married, it's going to be us staying together. Like, us staying together is us repairing our ideas about marriage through this relationship. And I think that's given her a little bit of pressure, and it's one of the values that brought them together, but it's also one of the values that could turn this into a disastrous relationship rather than a healthy one. But it's very evident that something's going on with JP, but he's not communicating something. He's not able to express how he's feeling, which makes the avoidant attachment style even more like obvious, because it's just like she's giving him opportunities to do something, opportunities to say, oh, okay, I can see myself like waking up to you every day, or I can see myself being with you forever, but that he's not feeding that back. He's not feeding it back, and she's getting more anxious because he's not feeding it back. So I think his avoidance is kind of pushing her into a more of a anxious style. But when JP's speaking to Milton, he doesn't open up to Milton either about their situation. It's kind of like, oh, we're not having sex, and then that's it. But he doesn't go into detail from what we've been seeing, that he doesn't go into detail with like why. There's no explanation from his side. Whereas every time we see Taylor speaking, there's always a maybe it's this, maybe it's that. She's really analyzing what's happening between her and him to try and see if she can put her best foot forward and fully express everything that's going on. And when she speaks to Stacey, she has recognized that in the pod she really likes him. He's a very genuine guy, but since the pods she doesn't feel comfortable. First she said safe, but comfortable is now the thing that she's saying, because she's recognizing that emotionally in the pod she was safe with him, but in real life it's not playing out the same way. So she's trying to still hold on to that safety, but she's recognizing that it's not comfortable. It's not something she's feeling, that anxiety, and that anxiety is presenting itself as well. But she also takes accountability, which is why I think she's more secure. And this is just a dynamic that's going through. That's why she keeps bouncing between the secure and anxious types. But I think she comes back to herself and she says, I also have to take into account I did say yes, so I have to make this work. So she's also taking responsibility for her part in this, whereas JP, you don't really see this. You see a lot of projection of him saying like, well, she wants this, she wants that, she wants this, but there's no accountability on how he's showing up, on how he's presenting. I don't think he's really self-aware compared to how much she is. So there's a little bit of a tug of war going on between them, but it's very evident that Taylor is very much aware of these things. And even when Taylor asks him, how are you feeling? He says, oh, I feel sweaty. So it's kind of like he just doesn't know how to tap into his emotions. And I don't know if that is because of his childhood and him having to suppress feelings so that he didn't feel like he was in danger around his mum. But it seems like there's something rooting it, but we don't have the full picture, so I can't really go into depth with it. But so like if he was in my room, I would be asking more questions about his angry mum, the childhood that he had, and his dad's ideas, and where his dad was in his life, because it doesn't seem like he has a real understanding. It seems like, from what I've seen, it seems like his idea of a man has been very much a external thing. So being a firefighter, being very patriotic, he's always wearing the American colors. Like it seems like he has an idea of what a man is, and he wants to stick with it. And it seems a little bit like toxic masculinity in there. But it's also, you can see that he tries to balance it out a little bit when he's like talking to her about like her cooking and stuff like that. So there's something that's not sitting right in their relationship, and it's unfortunately it's coming from JP's side, because Taylor has been very, very patient with him in the sense of trying to get information, trying to develop conversations. But it seems like when she gets to a place, she's getting one-word answers or very shallow answers. But I think it's coming from a place of insecurity, because I think when they're talking about the awkwardness, he says to her, I just don't want to lose you, please don't leave, like my fear is of you leaving. So I think he's scared that he likes her too much, and then that's going to push her away. But the actual thing that's happening here is, because he's kind of overwhelmed by her, he's not talking much, and that's what's pushing her away. It's not that she's not attracted to him and he's pushing her away with how he looks. It's more of his behaviors that is being fueled, but she's also trying to reassure him, like, okay, we just need to talk more, we need to get to a place where things are good. But his sense of coping is to just defend, to project. So like he's like, oh, but you were just, you can't get over this awkwardness. And it's like, no, I'm trying to get over it, because you can see her doing things. And he said, I'm trying, but really he's not trying to the level that she's expressed to him that she wants him to. And he's just kind of blocked, and it's hard for him to get past it. So I would kind of, if he was in my room, I would have to ask him, like, so what's scaring you about talking about how you feel? Because I'd see you constantly avoiding your feelings in this situation. Because how can someone ask you how you're feeling and you say sweaty? That's not a feeling. That's what's actually happening to your body. That's what's going on. So we need to like deep dive into that a little bit more. But yeah, it's an interesting couple, and the way they work is very, like, it's very different. I think it's his avoidance is really, really like standout-ish, and it's very hard for him to like move out of it. So I don't know what's happened in his childhood for him to feel like he can't express himself, or that he can't that he's afraid of losing her. There might be some sort of abandonment issues that might be showing up as well. And I don't know if it's because the dad left and he didn't see the dad, or like something like that. It seems like there's something rooted in there that has created a bit of an abandonment issue with them. So it's a very interesting couple, and the more I watch them, the more I see how strong she is. And at the end, when they're leaving, he does say, I just need to work on my insecurity. So I think his insecurities really was fueling him throughout that session, throughout that honeymoon. And it didn't help that they were with other couples who actually got on. So it kind of like made it very black and white that, oh, we're not in a good place. But he didn't know how to come out of it, other than mentioning about her wearing makeup for the reveal. So I think in his eyes, her wearing less makeup would have felt more secure for him, because then I'm not with this beautiful woman. She's just a woman. But I think it's coming across very, very stagnant, and he's stuck. And it seems like it kind of reminds me of like a teenager just about to like start relationship. So I think he's still very immature in the relationship world. So he's still trying to work out what he can say and what he can't say, what's not acceptable and what is acceptable. So I think because he doesn't know, he just shuts down and then stonewalls. But it's very interesting couple dynamic. And I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this couple? What is your ideas and thoughts about this couple? Because it seems to me like there's a lot going on. But what if you were to like give a few sentences as to why this couple didn't work out? Pop them into the chat so we can have a discussion about it, because I love these kinds of topics. I love talking about these kinds of things and having a bit of a brainstorming session with other people on it. So please do feel free to comment, subscribe, like this video if you like more content around this, and I'll just do my best to serve you guys as much as I can with these things, and we'll continue talking about other couples and seeing where else these conversations can go. But I'm really enjoying this season. There's a lot of drama in it. I was hoping for a bit more love, to be honest with you, but it seems like it's majority drama. But that's also good to watch, because you get to see different insights and different people's. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the episode. Next week there's going to be another episode on the couch, and we can like discuss that as well. So looking forward to hearing from you guys and just chatting with you guys. So please do put your ideas and thoughts in the comments so that we can all discuss. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.